Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Omkar Guru, on behalf of Kirin Advisors, it's pleasure to welcome you all to Beyond the Numbers Value Discovery Summit 2025, powered by Value Educator and co-powered by Kirin Advisors. So today marks day one of our three-day summit, which is a series of focus management meeting lined up. So we move on to our sixth interaction of the day with the Network People Services Technologies Limited. So from the management side, we are pleased to have Mr. Deepak Thakur, Chairman and Managing Director of the company. Good afternoon and welcome, sir.
Yeah, hi, afternoon.
And Mr. Ashish Agarwal, Managing Director of the company. Good afternoon and welcome, sir.
Good afternoon.
So from Value Educator team, we have with us Mr. Praneeth Zakadi. Good afternoon. With that now, I hand over the floor to Mr. Praneeth. Over to you, Praneeth.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, sir. A quick introduction before we begin. NPST, or Network People Service Technology, is a digital payment and banking tech company that builds software for banks, fintechs, and merchants. They focus on three engines: TSP services for banks, their payment platform as a service called EVOC, and a growing RegTech suite. Their solution power transaction processing, payment routing, and digital engagement layers for banks. Today, NPST handles over 15 billion banking transactions annually, works with around 15 banks, supports more than 100 customers, and enables payment services across lakhs of merchants nationwide. With this, I conclude the company overview, and with that, I hand over the stage to Mr. Deepak, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, Praneeth. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I think if there are existing shareholders, they might have already gone through our journey. Uh, you guys might have understood how the business model would work, and where exactly the organization is heading, because I think we do quarterly calls consistently. We try to follow certain guidelines to ensure that our investors are well educated about our business and the changing landscape. However, I think when we got the invite for this one, I believe it's this is time where we would give a little more detailing about the business that we are getting into, what we are doing, and what would be the market trend. So today, our focus will be to ensure that you realize, and we are part of the growth engine. It will indeed give a lot of growth to the organization. That's the ethos. So what we usually do is we follow the regulatory trends, we follow the economic trends and the overall market dynamics in the digital payment and the regulatory landscape that we are currently working on right now. I have a presentation to share. Do I have an access, Pranit?
Yes, I have given you the access. You can share it.
Thanks. Just help me understand if my presentation is visible.
Yes, it is good.
Great. Uh, so look at this particular slide. Uh, as as someone who is into a very disruptive segment, we do have an advantage of growing at much faster pace compared to the other industry trends. That's majorly because the kind of volume that we have seen over last few years, majorly on UPI and the digital products across banks and aggregators, is very high. So this is how the thought process is. This is how exactly we have built the overall business narrative and the story of the organization. One is we see what the regulator prefers. In the sense, in the market, let's say, is open banking the trend? Or is open banking much strong enough, and is there a requirement? Uh, if the RBI wants digital currency as a critical piece, has the government made some changes around data privacy laws. Now those becomes the thought process around what we should bundle in our product and what should be designed for the industry requirement. That's what we look at it. Once that is done, and what is the larger impact on the economy? So if at all there's a small solution which does not have an impact, and it is a very small solution versus a product which is mandatory and has to be picked up, more complex, and it will have larger revenue generation potential. So then the economic impact and whether it fits into the technology that we are following. So, A, is there a regulatory need, support available? B, what is the economic impact? C, whether the technology supports. Now, that's how we build NPST as the solution provider for the industry. There are three areas, obviously, before I get into that. You need to understand that we are in this business for 12 plus years now, not just 11. We have 20 plus banks and regulated entities, 100 plus customers. Every day we are processing about 5 to 6 crore transactions. When it comes to payment solution, I will take you through a real understanding how we operate, what we operate, because this is where the challenge is for you to understand what business are we operating in. So basically, we try to solve the interoperable payment challenge for banks and the aggregators. For that, we have suite of products, right? From UPI, MPS, digital currency, the banking super app, the bill aggregation platform, the payment platform, offline QR based solutions, sound boxes, anything and everything that comes around digital payment. So that will be where we'll be empowering the customer. This is how you can look at three major verticals. One is as a technology service provider, we sell our product either on license model or SaaS model. Idea here is to bridge the gap between the regulators, government, and the regulated entities and the fintech. So on one side, let's say you have NPCI, on the other side you have Canara Bank. So for Canara Bank to become interoperable, it is important that a technology partner like NPST will create an engine on which the digital payment can be operated. So it may be UPI, it may be IMPS, it may be banking super app, it may be anything around merchant payments, which is a mandatory requirement for a bank to operate digital payment, that will be provided by NPST. So NPST will become a bridge between the NPCI and the bank. Similarly, if there is online dispute resolution, anything that is driven by RBI and bank, so NPST will sit in between. If at all there is any requirement that comes from the industry and bank needs to build it, they will need a technology partner. So that's our first vertical. To large banks, we operate on license based model because that's what they afford. To mid to small size banks, they believe in the SaaS based model, wherein right from infra, software, support, everything is provided by us. We bill them on per transaction or per subscription. That's the model in which we operate. The second one is where we pivoted almost 4 or 5 years back. The intention was to bridge the gap between banks and fintech. So in the earlier case, we were sitting between NPC and bank. Now we are between a bank and fintech. Now what exactly we do here? Uh, if at all there is a payment aggregator who is currently operating with the top 10 banks to provide UPI. The other 10 banks in the ecosystem, which is second, third, fourth categories, it may be a small size private sector bank, a small finance bank, or a cooperative bank, or a PSU bank, who are not providing payment platform to the aggregators because either they are missing the technology stack, They're missing the compliance matrix, they're missing the solution. We do the heavy lifting and we build the entire stack for them, over which the aggregators and the direct merchants of banks, all of them can take services. If they are able to do that, they will be, they, of course, it will add to banks' growth. It will give CASA, it will give them the opportunity to increase bank accounts and also generate revenue for the platform which they are providing. And we generate revenue, of course, based on the solution that we are providing to banks and the payment aggregator. Here we make money on SaaS-based model. The third one is RegTech, wherein around payment platform, wherever there is a risk associated and wherever there is a compliance need, as a solution provider, we realize that the regulatory technology missing is a big issue with this particular business. So we built a RegTech with, last 2 to 3 years of investment, wherein we built AI ML based engine, which can predict fraud in the industry. That again goes on a pay per use model. So let's say you have a merchant which is doing a transaction over the bank QR code. Now, this merchant may be a barber shop, but the transaction may happen during the midnight. Then, in that case, this is not a barber shop. This merchant is misusing that particular QR code, and bank ends up answering the regulator or the investigation agency. Now, this is real big problem in the industry. Our system has all of these pattern analysis. We have all AI-based rule created, which learns from the data which exists in the universe, and then it starts building the rule. So that is what we did for about last 2.5 years, and now we are going live with this. So these are three segments in which we operate majorly. It's one real life example for you. Let's say as a user, you go to Starbucks and you do a scan and pay over the POS. So when you go to merchant, you use your Google Pay, Phone Pay, and you do a scan and pay on the POS which the Starbucks has. On your account debit, so if you're using ICICI Bank, Canara Bank account, your account will get debited. So between the journey of scan and pay and debit transaction in Canara Bank, there will be NPST UPI switch, which will help you debit the transaction. The same money then goes to maybe Pine Labs or Razorpay, who has given the payment solution to Starbucks. Now that Razorpay or Pine Labs will get money credited for in their bank account, which may be Karnataka Bank. Now, for someone to get money in Canara Bank, they will need another UPI switch. So NPST will have a UPI switch there. So you have a UPI switch in debit transaction, you have a UPI switch in credit transaction. Here there was a user who are transacting. Here you have a merchant who is transacting. Now Razorpay, for them to take money from bank account and provide the service to the customer, or I would say someone like AirPay, they will need a solution from the bank. Now that solution is again built by us, that is PPaaS. In the earlier two cases, it was TSP. In the last case where Canara Bank connected to AirPay is through a payment platform as a service solution, which is the second business that we have, second vertical, and delivering services to Starbucks. So that's the two. And to secure this, the third one is RegTech. So that is how the real life use case gets solved. I mean, when you're transacting, you're hitting my system 3 times. There is a debit, there is a credit, and then there is a API based QR code which gets generated on the POS. So that is the third one. So this is 3 areas, and a layer over it is where the RegTech would come. So there are 4 touch points on any transaction where NPST would operate. This is a growth trend right now for you to know that UPI is not just a payment channel. UPI is also a payment universe which not only provides P2P, P2M QR-based transactions, but beyond this, now you have UPI credit card, UPI credit line, you have IoT-based payment, you have solution being built for ONDC, you have service aggregation, you have multiple solutions on UPI as UPI Railroad. So there is UPI as a baseline. On top of this, you have debit card based transaction, credit card based transaction, prepaid card based transaction, you have account based transaction, and then you also have IoT based payments, you have QR based payment. So it has become a universe of its own. इसका impact क्या हुआ? Today UPI is almost about 9 out of 10 transaction is UPI. And this has happened within 10 years because of the ease of use, the cost of transaction, and at the same time, the problem it is trying to solve. It is trying to bring all the payment channel into a single gateway. So that's how you can see the growth trend. We see that it is very easy to predict that there will be 1 billion transaction per day on UPI, and when that happens, the entire industry for sure will grow with that. I mean, I see 576 billion transactions in 365 days by 3031. We are literally talking about 1.2 to 1.5 billion transactions on a daily basis. So that's the overall growth. These numbers you have already seen through my presentation for Q2 results, wherein we have presented the P2M, P2P growth story at what growth rate it is looking at. So we see that there is a 300% growth around digital payment for our product stack, which is across UPI, IMPS, digital banking, super app. At the same time, when it comes to payment devices, when it comes to QR codes, and when it comes to the sound box and the device based solution that we have built, there is again double the growth trend we see from here. When it comes to online payment, which is again evoke based platform, we see nothing less than 250 to 300% growth in coming years. And then RegTech, I believe the whatever number I've quoted is way too less. It is a very nascent stage, and there will be a definite need, regulatory need by every single bank to survive, and that will come through RegTech. I believe that's majorly from my side when it comes to trying to explain the business. I don't want to get into numbers because this is beyond numbers. So I'm happy to take questions here. I think that will give more interaction, and I believe with that, in Q&A itself, we can try to bundle more understanding about the organization. Yeah, over to you.
Yes, thank you, sir. So participants, now the floor is open for Q&A sessions. Kindly raise your hands or you can drop your questions in the chat box. Yes, Mr. Murlidhar, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Deepak ji, thank you very much for the beautiful presentation. It's wonderful. So the question is about for the past, I think about, decade, right? It's not even recently. Fintech has become too much crowded, right? So it's everywhere. Everyone is doing something in the, payments, fintech areas, this stuff. So just want to understand, how are we distinguishing from the crowd and say that we are the best?
Thanks, Murli. Quite an important question. To be very honest, we have taken 12 years to arrive at something. I mean, even to so the difference itself is from the fact that as NPST, when we went to the SME market, we did not raise any fund. We straight away went to SME market and we tried to, you know, reach out to the user because we had a lot of confidence in what we were building. The difference here is there is no one in the market who is present across the entire value chain. You try and pick up, you will not find the TSP uh, in the market who is doing the PPaaS or RegTech. You will not find a RegTech solution provider who understands payment. So everyone works very specific to their domain. Here, it was a very, very tough decision and heavy lifting on us to create the entire journey, because the one who is sitting inside bank for about 10 odd years, it is easier for them to move beyond bank and create the journey from bank to the payment aggregator. And then the one who is processing about 5 to 6 crore transaction every day as a domain service provider, it is easier for them to build the, not easy, but for them, they can be the domain expert to build the regulatory technology. Now, our strength is patience. Anything and everything that we have built has taken several years. And if it has not worked, we have to end up scrapping it. So if you see, RegTech is 2.5 years in making. It is not instant. PPAS was 3 years in making, and then it generated revenue. 18-19 is when I went to bank. 21 is when I raised the fund. 22 September, October is when we actually generated first rupee out of PPAS. TSP we entered in 15. We actually scaled up in 2018. So so we don't believe, I wouldn't say, it's not about the model in which others operate, but to be into business generating revenue and also bottom line, it is important to build that particular tech, let it breathe, let it scale, and then go ahead. So the biggest difference between the other fintech and us is we are the technology stack provider across all the fintechs and banks. So we try to keep away from the competition. We become the service providers to others. We ensure that we do the heavy lifting around the technology and the compliances. On the other hand, our growth engine is purely based on our experiences. We are not suddenly seeing what is the market trend and jumping on it. So, being on the entire value chain, adding more value to the customer is what we are looking at right now. So, that's the big difference here.
Yeah, you mean to say this, the big difference what we have, mm, is it not crackable by the competition? That means like, yeah, you are saying like the biggest asset or distinction is that, we have offering end to end. So how sustainable it is, that's a point of view of, asking this question, how sustainable
Until
we
certain
can
number.
survive so that, the others also cannot, or even by then they come, we can still show some distinction.
So we are currently in version 4.0. So anyone to come into this particular in payment platform as a domain, for them it is quite a lengthy journey.
Okay,
I'll do one thing. I'll show you one slide that will answer your question.
would be great.
Is it visible?
Yes.
So if you see right now, what we have built is obviously solution pro. If you see the second one at the bottom one,
Yeah.
uh, see, the evolution, the first platform when we started was we just had one bank as a solution. And on the other hand, banks were delivering services to payment aggregator. Now, let's say if I go to a bank, uh, and that particular bank does not have an ability to provide this particular platform. So first we will put the platform in place. Second, you need to understand the banking domain. You need to understand the compliance and solutions of banks. Third, you need to understand the payment aggregators domain. Beyond this, you need to keep on adding new services and solutions. And then it has to evolve. Then, apart from that, one product may not help. You need to keep on adding new products to it. Beyond this, beyond paying, you have payout, auto pay, then you have payment SDK. Apart from this, the banks that you have, that also matters. So you may start with one sponsor bank and then you end up adding about three, four, five, six, seven banks. So you need to convince that model. Now this takes at least 6 months to 1 year to bring one sponsor bank in the channel. So, A, you need to have the ability to understand and run this business. Second, you need to add sponsor banks back to back. You need to add new products back to back. And then you need to add new services back to back. Only once you have all of these heavy lifting done is where you can reach out to the aggregators and fintech. Now, for anyone to arrive at this, we'll have to build everything that we have done yet. So whatever you have seen here, this is 3.0. We are currently working on 4.0. So that's how you're ahead of the curve for sure. Second important piece is if you try to see the trend, if you map my competitor, you will not find even a single competitor in my TSP doing PPaaS as a business because there are certain opportunity cost you lose on. We do not have digital currency as an account yet. My competitors do have. Now, for them to put their entire energy and effort into that, someone will have to put 2 to 3 years of effort and enter this particular business. So for us, we have already invested and done and dusted about in 2018, 19, 20. That's why we are generating revenue in 22, 2024. So someone will have to go through that journey. That's important.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mulida sir. Yes, Mr. Harish, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Hello. Hi, Deepak.
Hey, hi, Arish. Tell me.
Deepak, earlier when I invested first time in NPST, we used to declare results in like very few days just after completing the quarter or half yearly earlier, whatever like we used to declare. So can we start that practice now, or why we have stopped that practice and now we declare results almost at the end of the deadline?
We will definitely improve that. There's no doubt about it. But Harish, I'll tell you what has happened is when we started early on, the size of the organization and the kind of business that we were operating was very limited. In the sense there was the revenue streams, or I would say the the size, and then again SME, right? Where we were supposed to do it every half yearly. We were proactively doing it quarterly. From there on to coming here, the upgrade, the software, then change from one auditor to another auditor, moving from SME to the new board. We also as an organization are going through a lot of changes. So the scale that we are trying to achieve at, we are in between, in the sense from there where we were just about 120, 150 odd people organization. Today we are 380 plus, and the number of products have multiplied like anything. The client list has changed. The internal, the softwares and policies, the committee being set, all that has multiplied a lot. So we are going through a lot of learning and upgrades right now. I believe this last quarter itself, we got the new auditor, statutory auditor, and Tata coming on board right now. There are other expectations around new investors coming in. The pressure and the overall aggressiveness around the business is different, and the size is also much bigger. Apart from this, we are also going through a change where AI is playing a very critical role for the tech organization. So what you are expecting is definitely on cards, but not something where I would mend certain changes which is happening for us to absorb all of these. So just bear with us for some time, we'll arrive at it.
Okay, fine, no problem. That was not such a big issue. It was just a curiosity from my side. Okay, so
No, I
my
think this question has come a couple of times, so I thought let me address it and give you a complete transparency.
okay. So now my next question is like it is little forward looking. So now basically quarter is almost ending, just 15 days remaining. So we are well on target to achieve our milestone of crossing Q3 last year, or like we will shortfall little bit from that target.
Harishji, I think we just did a call not even a month back, I guess, a month back, right, for the quarterly results. My suggestion would be to hold on that particular question because I would like to avoid answering anything for now, at least, because we are very close to the quarter end, and I don't know what are the compliance conversations around this. I think Ashish should agree around those particular pieces.
I think this call is anyhow beyond the numbers. This call is anyhow around beyond the numbers. So I think let's wait for the quarterly results. We are trying to achieve what we have told.
Okay, okay, fine, thank you.
Thank you, Harish sir. Yes, Mr. Akhil, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, hi Deepak. So thanks a lot for clarifying your business segmentation in this detail. Really looking forward to what you guys are going to achieve. So the question is more around towards the client base. So I see that you already have the likes of Canara Bank, Kerala Grameen Bank. Are we also looking to maybe target banks that are the leading ones out there, the likes of Axis and the HDFC and the more prominent ones?
Yes.
Because I feel that this is something that would highlight the capability of what NPST does. So, is there a plan to achieve and go ahead with that avenue? Are we doing something around that?
Yeah, so there is definitely a plan, but we need to figure out which vertical. So someone like in a TSP domain, which is quite age old in the sense, let's say if RBI says, let's launch digital currency. So there will be one product, and it takes about a year to go through a journey of adding the first client, and then maybe, next year, depending on what the funnel is created. So for sure in TSP domain, there is a focus for the new solution which gets added in the stack and then going to these kinds of customer. When it comes to RegTech, again, for us, universe is across. It may be private sector bank, it may be public sector bank. You'll find us going in all the banks. So you'll start seeing those names very soon. I mean, we did not have CBI until last year. We did not have IOB until last year. We did not have Ujjivan. So
Mm-hmm.
all of these we have added. So today our list is not just Canara, Kerala Grameen, Karnataka Grameen. We have IOB, we have Ujjivan, we have CBI, we have Bank of Maharashtra. So all of them you will find across these segments. RegTech, I believe we have a much larger role to play, considering the investment we have done as an organization. But that will be again when it comes to next financial year, you will start seeing good names, including the large consulting houses. Apart from this, when it comes to payment platform as a service, uh, I I believe the top 10 banks have already created the payment stack which they have done. So do we add them to our portfolio? The answer is to get the brand visibility around that particular
Mm-hmm.
solution. Yes, maybe one or two. But do we generate revenue and business? The answer is no, because they have their own ways to do it. So just to add a brand perspective, we are anyways thinking to add two more so that we can think about. But where there is a gap in the market, the tech stack is missing, the compliance box is missing, the operations when you go to PPAS, the heavy lifting around the overall sales operations is missing. So where you have those as a mess, that is where the revenue is good. So that those are the banks we are targeting right now. So you can say that in PPAS minus 10, the rest 10 is what our target is all about.
Understood. Thanks for clarifying that. And Deepak, another question that I had was regarding the UPI transaction. Like, if we talk uh, D2C, primarily you build something called Times Pay app, which is a direct competitor to Google Pay or Cred or whatever, Paytm, all those likes. I think there was some significant investment going around that, but lately we see that nothing is happening around that space, and that is not being classified as a segmentation also. So have we scrapped that idea altogether? Are we doing something around that?
No, not it. Honestly, last year Q4, if I'm not wrong, we created a subsidiary, TimePay Digital Infotech, and that is what we informed to the market. And then we decided that there should be a small amount which should go into that subsidiary. However, when it comes to B2C, there when we went to the market and when we started talking to investors, we got a very mixed reaction, in the sense, the same reaction that came to us when we were building PPAS story. You are a TSP, why are you doing PPAS? Your focus should be banks and not the aggregators. So similarly, we have started getting a reaction wherein there are investors who are very keen to invest into this story. They have been following up with us, and on the other hand, there are investors who don't want to touch that particular space because uh, have we done B2C? Have we created success? The answer is no. I mean, we have been a part of the B2C success story by sitting behind, not facing the customer. Now that's where the gap is. So we decided that this remains. However, when it comes to PNL, TimePay is not contributing a big number to our story. So we decided to not talk about TimePay when it comes to the PNL and investor numbers. However, TimePay, TimePay as a product, as a subsidiary, and as a long-term vision exists. And it is just that we are not able to commit heavy on the investments on TimePay. That's why we don't want to talk about it. Majorly, the investments which have come is around B2B. And we will not be using that fund for B2C purpose. If we have, so our first problem was to solve the expansion issue, which we just got fund from Tata. It hit our account just couple of months, weeks back.
Right.
And now our focus will remain on that. Parallelly, TimePay will scale as much it wants to with that limited budget. As soon as we are able to do this, then the next step will obviously be to think about TimePay. And until then, our subsidiary will be nothing less than 2 years old. We'll have enough, ground already created. Books will be created. You see, for that, the homework should start way too early. So again, it's a patience game. Will take time to arrive at it.
All right. Thanks, Deepak, and I really wish you the best of the journey.
Thanks, Akhil.
Thank you, Akhil sir. So we have a couple of questions in the chat box also. So investors, due to time constraints, please limit your questions to two questions per person. Yes, Mr. Saurabh, we can go ahead and ask your question.
Hi Deepak, nice talking to you again. Uh, I was actually looking at some statistics on the UPI ecosystem, and it's great to see that we have doubled the volume on NSDL Payments Bank. Now the transaction volume has doubled. One thing that I was concerned about was for the past 3 months, the business decline percentage has increased a lot. in NSDL Payments Bank, where people are entering incorrect pins and their banks are not correctly linked or something like that. So I just wanted to know, does this impact us, or why is it happening with NSDL so much? It's significantly higher than the top 15 other top 15 players, right?
Saurabh, I'll just rectify here. We are
Yeah.
doing payout through NSDL. What you are
Okay.
referring to is pay-in, is
Okay.
the credit transactions, and that's where it is not our switch for now in NSDL. Our relation with them is more on payout. So payout volume have increased for sure a bit, and business decline is specific to the UPI switch which is deployed. So we don't have a UPI switch in NSDL. We have a payment platform. So,
Okay.
so it doesn't. It is not directly linked to us.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
No problem. Thanks. Thanks.
Thanks. I'll quickly take questions which are on chat box, Omkar, before you pick up. There is one question: what is the specific monetization model for the UPI 123 pay service? What is expected gross margin profile and competitive strategy for RegTech vertical? So there are two separate questions. On UPI 123, the monetization model is to one, by providing UPI 123 switch to banks, we can generate revenue on license and SaaS-based model, which is per month subscription and a specific license fee. Beyond this, uh, when it comes to the payment, voice payment over UPI 123, we make money on per transaction. So every transaction there will be a fees paid to us. So that's UPI 123. In RIDP, I think before arriving at the gross margin profile, you should match this to the AI/ML based, margin the industry has, which is over 40 to 50% odd. Majorly because it's a product, it's not a project. And secondly, this is on a subscription based model. This is not a capex based model. We are yet to explore how the regulatory tech, goes from here. And if it becomes a part of on-premise requirement for a bank, then in that case, it will become a license-based model. So for now, it is a subscription-based solution. Monetization is still under process. So once we have the revenue coming in from RIDP, we'll definitely let you know. Second question is, once Evoke 4.0, what would be the first sign for management that the platform is gaining real traction? UPI, Evoke 4.0, as soon as we launch it, the first sign is going to be the volume, which we foresee will be higher. Higher in the sense, for example, the dynamic routing is part of 4.0. So what will happen? The confidence of a payment aggregator to put traffic on Evoke 4.0 will be higher. If that happens, then the volume per aggregator will start improving. Second is the revenue source will also improve. For example, the settlement, which was on a weekday, if that gets added on weekend, for sure there's a cost to it, and for that cost you will have to pay. So revenue per ticket will also improve. So these are two specifics that we see from 4.0. So I believe it will take a quarter for us to analyze after launch. As soon as it is launched, it's not like, launch hote hi paisa ban gaya. So it has to be like, once launched, we have to evaluate those metrics which I have mentioned, the volume per customer and the revenue per ticket. So after a quarter, we'll be able to arrive at the success story. The international markets like Africa and UAE, uh, what has been the biggest learning so far compared to the Indian banking ecosystem? In a very short, India has its own interoperable ecosystem on which you can innovate, you can build product confidently, and you can decide the pricing. UPI, you can decide what should be the pricing, whether it should be chargeable or not, and make the entire ecosystem work around it from the government point of view. When it comes to RuPay, I mean, the fees that Master Visa is currently commanding in the global market, in the domestic market, RuPay can actually change the entire landscape, right? Up to 2000 rupees, let's not charge the customer. So, and then certification. The certification fee is all not even 1/10 of the masters and visas of the world. So the biggest difference here is when it comes to the global market, their over reliance on the kind of infra which is built outside. They don't have their own ecosystem, which India has already spent 2 decades to build. So I think that's where we see an opportunity. Can we be the domain guy, and can we be the architect or the construction guys for building those kind of interoperable system those countries may demand? And that is why our international foray is taking little time, but it will be really big. So imagine we are not talking about simple POS device, or we are not talking about a payment API. We are talking about constructing the entire interoperable ecosystem in certain countries. So that's the major change which I see. I think if we are distinguished in service and present across value chain wise clientele base, so consolidate. I see. I think I've already answered this question. As the business mix shift more towards TSP and SaaS, how does management expect receivables cycle to evolve over time? See, we need to understand that higher the TSP, your cycles will be longer, because that's the nature of the business and the industry. We cannot currently change it because that's how the clients pay, and that's how the competitors demand. So if there is a 90 days cycle for from start to end, and if I sit on 30 days, I cannot even sit there. So we have to follow how the industry has built that particular model. Where we can improve is after Evoke 4.0, when we are scaling it further. I think that's where the SaaS will trigger higher. Secondly, the launch of bank in a box is critical, because we completely miss the medium and small size banks and the small size aggregators. Their revenue per customer will be very small, but it will be subscription based. And on certain tenancy, it will be your margin will be, instead of 10-20%, the margin will jump up. Then it takes about a year to arrive there. But that investment we of course have right now after Tata coming in. Is there any question anyone waiting for, or I'll continue asking?
Yeah, there are two people waiting in the queue.
Then let us answer that, and
Yes.
then we can come to this.
Yes, yes,
There are
yes.
few more questions. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Mr. Niral, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Hi Deepak, Neeral here.
Yeah, I know.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. My question was, your aspiration was always to build one of the very good payment company, right? Overall, that was what was the aspiration. Where do you see NPST 3 to 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line? Where do you, and what will be the products which will be your growth focus products?
Niral, I think very good question, in fact. Uh, so our aspiration is to build one of the most respected payment company coming out of India. That's what I would
Yes.
say now. It's not just about the domestic market, also the global demand, which has changed our aspiration. To be very honest, when we began in 1819 and we did not see the downward trend, we continued on what journey we were looking at. But later on, we got hit at certain time. We have to redo the entire revenue model. We have to redo the entire product mix. So there are a lot that we have gone through in last 1 year, and we still survive. We've still grown. That's because the fundamentals are stronger. Now we are very clear that as a part of the digital economy, whatever we have gained in this decade, uh, we want to take an advantage of being at right place, right time as a company which understands. So just consider this as someone who has built the highways. So someone who has built great highways in Japan would come to India and teach you how to build highway, and ensure that on a SaaS-based model for about 10, 20 years, you continue to scale the highway business. Someone who has built bullet trains in Japan would go to Africa, India, construct the bullet train, and for a good 40, 50 years continue to run the bullet trains. That is what we intend to see NPST doing with digital payments. Someone who understands the digital highway, someone who understands the how your digital landscape should be built. So we are very small, talking big. I hope we get such an opportunity. We are trying to knock the doors, we are trying to go everywhere and selling this particular story. We may tag along with large consultant if people don't listen to us. We may try to build the story. The journey is very difficult. So I would say that that's where we intend to go. We want to build digital highways in India and abroad. And we want to ensure that whatever we have built, if at all we lose on certain product, it's part of the highway. I mean, or if we don't generate revenue on a particular product, it should not matter to us because the highway has been built. We are adding credit card to it. We are adding prepaid instruments to it. We are adding digital currency to it. The revenue should keep on, as a regular matrix. That's what we intend to do. In the journey, we added RegTech, I believe, to secure the highway, whatever is required. That is what we are trying to build in. So it will keep on multiplying that way. So I hope I am able to share the message what we intend to think internally.
I have a follow-up on this. So just that I heard your last answer also, that your focus is shifting slightly towards global right now. Right now, it's so that y'all have
Not
just started.
shifting, not
Y'all have just,
shifting. It's
huh,
it's an add-on, right? So when we raise fund
yeah.
from Tata, if you see three clauses, one is the expansion that we are doing, and the second one is
Hmm,
global. So
hmm.
existing expansion, how do we take it forward? Second is how do whatever we have built here, how do we take it global? So it's very clearly called out in the object clause.
Okay. So y'all are looking at expanding beyond the two, three geographies that y'all are present, UAE, South Africa. So you are looking at other countries.
We have a great traction in Africa, Middle
Hmm.
East, and Southeast Asia. These are the areas that we are looking at. Very interestingly, we got inquiries even from far off places like Mexico, Bahamas, Puerto Rico, which is towards Latin America, Central America. So I believe as and when we start building the traction, we will come to know what more geography we can go.
Okay, great to hear that. I hope the organization is in the right spirit to go ahead and achieve the results.
Intent are same.
Eh,
Thanks, Niral. So I'll take quick
Thank,
question on the chat
yes.
if you want. Yeah. Uh, what is NPST's vision until 2030? Where do you see yourself by the year? I think I have already answered this question. Please advise the number of customers added proposed to be added in FY26 who have revenue potential of rupees 25 crore minimum. You did not mention the span. So honestly, all split this. So we have already added CBI, that is the entire contract is 70 crore plus. Bank of Maharashtra, we have got now three accounts within Bank of Maharashtra. IOB, I see a great potential going forward as soon as we mine the account. So all of these are this year, and then again Ujjivan. Apart from this, you should see it from two brackets. One is beyond the large banks. If you see bank in a box, it's a combination of 100 plus tenants. So let's say next financial year, this Q4 and next financial year, our target is to cross 100 numbers. So if you're able to add 100 tenants into 12-month subscription, that means 1,200 fees into revenue per subscription. So that can be ranging from 1 lakh to 3 lakh, 4 lakh. Now this becomes a recurring revenue. But your infra cost does not go higher, your people does not go higher, your revenue multiplies. I think that's where I believe you cannot restrict it to 24, 25 crore odd revenue. That is 6 months to 1 year cycle. Whereas when it comes to SaaS-based revenue, it is 3 months to 4 months, not maybe some are even 1 month cycle, sales cycle. So splitting it into two. Secondly, when it comes to PPaaS, it is SaaS-based revenue. So you cannot consider it as 25 crore account. Rather, I would say from the product side in SaaS, in PPaaS, every product will give 25 crore plus revenue. International business prospect, like I've already answered, uh, uh, we have several conversations going on right now, right from Africa, multiple in Africa, some in Southeast Asia, and even somewhere in Central America. But that's not what you should count Central America for now. That's just an inquiry. But I believe the strong foothold is Africa for now. Multiple countries. We'll be declaring soon some of the progress, but you'll have to wait for it to come from the organization's official channel. How do you plan to use the funds from Tata? By when will you make this investment? I think the object is very clear: global expansion and the business expansion. In business, account expansion, product expansion, and market expansion. These are three criterias. It is very critical for us to ensure that whatever we do, it should result into the revenue impact or the bottom line impact or the account impact. ये तीनों में से either 3 areas should be ticked or some areas should be ticked. That's very critical. We are doing a lot around this for sure. The funds will be used for setting up a separate unit altogether to run the targeted expectation. Like for global, we have already committed, right? So for that, we need to create a separate unit altogether. Otherwise, we cannot run global. The way we were running it in past versus now, there will be no difference. So there will be no business focus. So that's where one investment would go. Marketing and brand value across the product that we are currently building. I think RegTech's one biggest challenge is we are not considered as a RegTech organization. That is the reason why it becomes difficult for us to go, and it takes time. So we want to establish ourselves as a brand into that particular space also. In PPaaS, whatever we are doing in 4.0 and furthermore story, people are still considering us as a UPI only company. But whereas we have moved on to cards as well. So I believe marketing is the second particular area where there will be an investment. Third, when it comes the right time to tell you about the inorganic growth, we'll definitely tell you that. But we'll have to wait for that.
Okay, thank you, sir. See, so we have one hand raised. We will take one question from him. Yes, Mr. Harish, you can go ahead and ask your question. And please note, you can only ask one question due to the time constraint.
तो ये दीपक, ये जो अभी अपन ने अराउंड मंथ बैक एक पार्टनरशिप अनाउंसमेंट करी थी कॉस्मोस बैंक के साथ। तो मैं थोड़ा ये समझना चाह रहा था कि हाउ बिग दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी इन कंपैरिजन टू वन बैंक लाइक जीवन बैंक और these banks.
तो जो न्यूज़ में आया था उसकी बात कर रहे हो हरीश जी?
Right.
हाँ, अच्छा ठीक है। तो see, Cosmos is already an existing account, but what has happened is जो छोटे कोऑपरेटिव बैंक्स है जहाँ पर क्यूआर सोल्यूशन मिसिंग है, वहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है कि वो जो क्यूआर देने का जो रिक्वायरमेंट है व्हेन इट कम्स टू एम्पावरिंग दी merchants and the current account holders of a bank with digital payment requirement, offline payments and all. There, the the small cooperative banks do not have the ability and funds, और मतलब आप ये समझ लो कि सब्सक्रिप्शन बेस्ड मॉडल पे आपने मेरे से अक्वायरिंग स्विच ले लिया, लेकिन उसको मेंटेन करना, चलाना, बैंक के अंदर अलग यूनिट क्रिएट करना, उसके कंप्लायंसेस देखना, इट इज नॉट एन इजी थिंग। रादर यू आप किसी से पार्टनर करके वो ड्राइव करो। सो वी रियलाइज दैट देर इज अ ग्रेट अपॉर्चुनिटी, बिकॉज हमने वो बैंक इन अ बॉक्स जो बनाया है उसमें हम स्विचेस वगैरह तो सबको दे ही रहे, लेकिन वहां पे हमें ये पता चला कि these guys are also struggling with the QR and soundbox only solution without, and they don't have the platform. So we tied up with Cosmos Bank and then we launched this particular piece. So I hope now you have understood. जो छोटे कोऑपरेटिव बैंक अफोर्ड नहीं कर सकते, वहां पे SaaS बेस्ड मॉडल में हम QR और साउंड बॉक्स कैसे दे सके एज देयर टेक पार्टनर. सो that was the product that we launched. So it added one more product in our channel. इसका रेवेन्यू पर मंथ सब्सक्रिप्शन मॉडल पे आएगा। जितने मर्चेंट इसमें मल्टीप्लाई होंगे, पर मर्चेंट पर मंथ हमें कुछ रेवेन्यू मिलेगा, डिपेंडिंग ऑन दी प्रोडक्ट। जैसे अगर वो सिर्फ क्यूआर ले रहा है या क्यूआर प्लस साउंड बॉक्स लेता है, क्यूआर साउंड बॉक्स रिकॉन, मर्चेंट मैनेजमेंट, मोबाइल ऐप, ये सब ले रहा है, इसके बेसिस पे the price, the cost may change as low as 1 rupee 50 paise per day. So that's how the entire solution has been designed. मार्केट साइज कितना बड़ा है अभी? टोटल कोऑपरेटिव बैंक्स इन इंडिया इज 1800 ऑड। अब 1800 में से हम अगर ज़्यादा नहीं 20-30% यूनिवर्स को भी टारगेट करें, तो भी हम तकरीबन 500-600 बैंकों की बात कर रहे हैं। सो नाउ इट प्योरली डिपेंड्स कि कितने अग्रेसिवली बैंक हमें सपोर्ट करता है और कितने अग्रेसिवली हमारे पास वो मल्टीपल पोर्टफोलियो हम मार्केट में लेके जाते हैं। सो दैट्स द यूनिवर्स।
ये जो कॉस्मो, ये जो बैंक्स हैं छोटे कोऑपरेटिव बैंक्स, वो उनकी साइज इतनी बड़ी नहीं होती होगी ना। तो वही पर्सपेक्टिव था मेरा जानने का कि सब बैंक्स मिला के हमें कितने बैंक्स जो नॉर्मल बैंक्स हैं उनकी किस किस साइज की अपॉर्चुनिटी बेसिकली वो है मेरे लिए।
सर उसमें नंबर दिया था, मुझे याद नहीं आ रहा है, बट मैं आपको एग्जांपल दे सकता हूँ कि एक एक बैंक तकरीबन 500 मर्चेंट की बात कर रहा है, दूसरा बैंक हमसे 50,000 मर्चेंट की बात कर रहा है। सो इट विल वेरी। देर इज अ बैंक विथ जस्ट अबाउट 8 branches, but there is another bank which has about 90 branches. So it depends कि अभी एवरेज आउट करेंगे तो ओबियसली नंबर छोटा नहीं होगा।
ओके,
तो
नहीं,
आई बिलीव उसमें 10,000 प्लस ब्रांचेस होंगे शायद। वो आप
11,000 आपने मेंशन कर रखी, 11,000
हाँ
ब्रांचेस।
शायद वो हमने कुछ 10,000 प्लस ब्रांचेस है शायद ये पूरे इकोसिस्टम का, यूनिवर्स का।
ओके, ओके, फाइन,
हाँ सर।
ओके, थैंक यू।
थैंक यू।
Thank you, Harish sir. Uh, so can you just answer this one question that what's competitor for your RegTech space?
What are
So
the
you
other competitors for you in regulatory space? This is very, very new space what we built. Honestly, we are still mapping. we don't see, क्योंकि regtech space ना is something wherein, so I'll explain how. RBI says that you should stop the fraud. फ्रॉड रोकने के लिए आपको क्या लगाना है, दैट इज नॉट व्हाट आरबीआई विल टॉक राइट नाउ. फॉर एग्जांपल, आरबीआई इफ दे से यू शुड हैव एंटी मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग सिस्टम, तो एंटी मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग के रूल्स डिफाइंड है कि आपको एंटी मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग में ये करना है, ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करना है, कस्टमर को ब्लॉक करना पड़ेगा आपको, और आरबीआई में इसको रिपोर्ट करना है. नाउ दैट्स अ डिफाइंड product requirement. So there it is easier to navigate and assess. What we are trying to do is create a regtech as a platform entirely, wherein जो problem statements industry के हम वो solve करने की कोशिश करें. So no one can claim the direct competitor for now in the space that we are in. Our AI based risk engine. So that everyone will say that they have AI based risk engine, but everyone will have very specific problem to solve. So for us, whatever we have built, we don't see anyone else has built that particular solution, because we built the solution be sitting inside bank and sitting with the payment aggregator. तो हमने उन दोनों के प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने के लिए हमारे इकोसिस्टम में वो बिल्ड किया हुआ है, and then we productized it, brought it to market. So for now, for this particular product, I wouldn't say the competition would exist.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So, if that's so, can we conclude the meeting, sir?
It's up to you. If there are any questions, I can take, or else we can conclude.
No, just due to the time constraint, we
Surely,
can't take
sure.
any questions. Yeah.
Sure, sure.
So, thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Deepak, sir. Thank you, Ashish, sir. Thank you, investors. For any further questions, you can reach out to us at corporate access at directkirinadvisors.com. So, thank you, everyone, for joining.
Thanks
Thank you,
everyone.
thank you, Pranid,
Thank you so
also.
much.
Bye.
Thank you so much.